the last thing, in fact, I'm thinking about writing a book just on this, is the microbiome.
Mm.
I really think that's where the money is. The more I read about the microbiome, I am just like totally blown away. I mean, we have about 37 trillion bacteria in our gut, and we have about 37 trillion cells in our body. And you basically have your good Prevotella bacteria. There's about 500 subspecies under that. And you have your Bacteroides, there's about 500 subspecies under that. And what we do know is that these good bacteria thrive on fiber. When you eat plants, your digestive enzymes cannot metabolize that. In fact, what's really interesting, we only have 17 digestive enzymes to handle what we eat. In our gut, there's over 60,000 different enzymes down there to handle a multitude of different foods. So the fiber gets down there, these good bacteria, these Prevotella bacteria, they metabolize the fiber. They create these short-chain fatty acids, butyrate, acetate, propionate. And these are the most anti-inflammatory molecules I ever seen in my life. I mean, these things are incredible. You can't take it with a supplement because it gets destroyed. I know the pharmaceutical industry is probably going, man, if we could make a supplement like this, this would be a major killer. But these short-chain fatty acids are extremely anti-inflammatory, and these gut bacteria control 70% of your immune function. That's the part that really blows my mind. And they really do it through signaling through this single layer. You have a single layer of cells in your gut. And the blood vessels with all of the different B cells, T cells, T regulatory cells, and so forth, they're flowing near the intestine. And these gut bacteria are basically sending signals to these immune cells and telling them where to go, how to fight, telling the regulatory T cells when the inflammation needs to kind of tone down. Hey, regulatory T cells, get in there and like tone down this inflammation. And I think that's one of the reasons people get these autoimmune diseases. I think when they have dysbiosis, their gut bacteria really aren't in a position to really kind of guide like the immune response. But another thing that really kind of blew my mind about these gut bacteria is they secrete. Where do you think most of your serotonin comes from? You probably think it comes from your brain, right? Because doctors give serotonin uptake inhibitors for people that have depression. It's like the happy hormone. 90% of your serotonin actually comes from your gut bacteria and 50% of your dopamine. So, and then there's 30 other plus neurotransmitters that are released by these gut bacteria. And the other thing that's interesting, I don't know if you've ever seen any of these studies where they've done fecal transplants between identical twins. One's obese, one's thin. They take the feces of the obese twin, they do a fecal transplant into a thin mouse, and the thin mouse gets fat. And then the same thing, you take the thin twin, you do a fecal transplant into a fat mouse, and it gets thin. So the gut microbiome, they release these kind of appetite suppressors, GPL1, PYY, and leptin, that actually decrease your appetite. And they also kind of downgrade your ghrelin, which makes you like more hungry. So it's really amazing. I think that's one of the reasons why, if you look at the major studies, the Oxford EPIC study, the HS2 study, vegans were the only group that had BMIs under 25. Vegetarians were like about, I think it was like 25.6. Omnivores were about 28.8. And I think one of the reasons is probably because of the fiber. And most people are not getting nearly enough fiber. There was an NHANES study done about 10 years ago. Men from 30 to 50, 0% get 30 grams of fiber. And with women, it was 3%. I mean, that's really pretty pathetic. And I think 30 grams of fiber is really not high. I probably 70 to 100 grams of fiber every day. I mean, consistently. And most people aren't getting that at all, especially these people that are eating keto, animal-based products, carnivore diets. They're not getting really any fiber at all. In fact, there was a really amazing study done in 2014 in Nature, and they basically took two groups. They fed one a totally carnivore diet and the other one a whole food plant-based diet. And they measured their microbiome at the very beginning. And then every day they would analyze their microbiome for 5 days. And what they found was even the first day, there was already a significant change going on in the microbiome. In the people that were eating plant-based, Prevotella good bacteria were going up, the bad Bacteroides bacteria were going down, and the people that were eating animal-based products, the Bacteroides was going up and the Prevotella was going down. And then at the end of 5 days, it was much more dramatic. And also I don't know if you're familiar with the American Gut Study. Robert Knight, he's one of the premier microbiome researchers. What he found, and he has a study going on where you send in your stool. I think he charges $100 for that. They do a extensive questionnaire to find out what you're eating, how you're exercising and sleeping and so forth. And what they do is they analyze your microbiome. And what they found was when they compared people that ate 30 different plant foods in a week compared to people that just ate 10 different types of plant foods per week, the people that ate 30 type had a much more flourishing microbiota. It was more diverse. They had more of the good Prevotella bacteria compared to the ones that ate 10. My wife and I, we try to get 40 per week. Herbs and spices are kind of included in that. But I do think the greater the diversity, the greater the gut microbiome, the greater your immune function is going to be. You're going to be in much better brain health situation because of all of the serotonin, all these neurotransmitters and dopamine. So I really think that the microbiome is so important